all of the festivities that are going on. So, and before we start the meeting, I am working on a project that I'm going to do a quick little film segment, not right now, but somebody's supposed to come around 9. So when that person comes, we might do a quick video shoot, and I'll explain that too in a minute. But at this time, I think what I will do is before we start the meeting, getting everything organized here. First of all, I want to welcome everybody, and before we begin, we will start with a prayer with Councilman Dave Kemna, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today to ask for your blessing upon this meeting. We pray that you give us peace to wisdom and make the right decisions. And for today, bless the way of the city of Jesus. We thank you for all that you have given us in this wonderful city. We thank you for those that you have brought into our lives and have led the way for us today. Family, friends, military, and even our enemies. We ask that your hand be upon the many events this next couple days for the Salute to America. We ask for safety for all those involved. We again thank you for all the many blessings in our lives.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Monday, July 3rd City Council meeting. Mrs. Powell, roll call, please.
Fitzwater.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Hussey. Kemna.
Here.
Mahalovich.
Here.
Prather.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Ward. Here. Wiseman.
Here. Thank you. At this time, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item 4, miscellaneous agenda items. We have item A, presentation of the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award by Mr. Kroll.
Thank you. I am pleased to announce that the city has received the Governmental Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for our fiscal year 2016-17 budget, which is our current budget. This is really a significant accomplishment, and really proud of it. I want to thank the Mayor and City Council for your commitment to ensuring a high level of information for the citizens to better appreciate and understand the finances of the city. I want to congratulate Director of Finance and Information Technology Manager, Director Margie Miller, and all the staff members and lead personnel who Margie will introduce in a few minutes here, and the department directors and employees for their hard work in preparing the necessary information for this budget recognition. In order to receive the award, the city had to satisfy nationally recognized guidelines for effective budget presentation as assessed by a team of independent reviewers. The guidelines are designed to assess how well an organization's budget serves as a policy document, a financial plan, an operations guide, and a communication device. Budget documents receiving the recognition must be rated proficient in all 4 categories in order to receive the award. There are 27 budget criteria GFOA determined that this recommends, and this GFOA determined that the city met these guideline requirements. For the 2016 year, as of this morning, there were 1,207 organizations which received this designated budget award, this Distinguished Budget Award, and there are approximately 19,000 members in GFOA. So, Ms. Miller, if you'd like to come forward, I'll present this award to you and introduce the other members of your team. I'm just going to go up there and do that. That's the Budget Award and a nice certificate from GFOA recognizing the city for that accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Yeah. Want to introduce our chief accountant, Sheila Perry, who is the one that prepares all the documents that go with this, and Kara Sankey, our senior accountant, who couldn't make it today for this meeting, but they are the ones that have been doing this for many years and have the tedious and very thorough job of putting this document together. So I want to thank them for all of their work as well.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, and appreciate your department and everything. Congratulations. And thank you, Mrs. Miller and Mrs. Perry, for all the hard work. That is definitely something that we are very proud of as a city, and happy to accept that budget award. Thank you. Item B is presentation of the Parks and Recreation Month proclamation to Amy Schrader. And also, did you have anyone else would you like to come forward too okay, that'll be great. We are celebrating Parks and Recreation Month. So I do have a proclamation here that I will share, and then would like to hear all the exciting announcements about what's going on with Parks and Rec Month. So it's great to have both of you here. Thank you. And also Mr. Stiles for being here this morning too. Mr. Gates, thank you. And all of the Parks and Recreation Department, and also for filling in also for Mr. Spalding. This proclamation is whereas the Parks and Recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the city of Jefferson, and whereas our Parks and Recreation are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community region, and whereas Parks and Rec programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, provide therapeutic recreation services for those who are mentally or physically disabled, and improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. And whereas Parks and Recreation programs increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation areas are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas parks and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers to development, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and the City of Jefferson recognizes the benefits derived from Parks and Recreation resources, we declare in the City of Jefferson Parks and Recreation Month during the month of July. So thank you, and appreciate all that you do for our city and our community. We have excellent parks, and we'll look forward to report on all that you are doing for Parks and Recreation Month.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. A couple weeks ago, I was part of a conversation that included about 25 adults, and the question was posed, what was one of your favorite childhood memories? And many, if not all, stated that one of their favorite memories was to be outside and be playing, whether that be riding a bike, playing a baseball game, something like that. So there's a lot of power in play. So the month of July, National Park and Recreation Month, that is the theme this year, is Get Your Play On. So we have taken that theme and run with it. One of the first programs that we have is a month-long program that we're calling Play Unplugged. This is a list of 31 activities that does not require any electronics, no devices, anything. That list we have posted on our website, and I also have copies here. I don't know if it made it into the packet or not. But some examples of that list is search for a four-leaf clover, chase a squirrel, different things like that. We wanted to make it fun for all. So if out of these 31 activities there's something preventing somebody from not doing something due to a physical or a developmental condition, they can write in their own activities. The point of this exercise is to get people out in our parks and get them outdoors and to enjoy things without electronics. If they turn this in at the end of the month, they will be entered into a drawing, and we're still coming up with some prizes, but they would include amusement park tickets, possibly some Royals tickets, and different passes for our parks facilities. So along with that month-long activity, we also have a week-long contest with different themes that incorporate social media. So week 1, which is going on now through July 8th, it's Get Your Move On, which is sponsored by Healthy Schools, Healthy Communities. And they have donated prizes from Red Wheel Bike Shop, including a bicycle, a $50 gift certificate, and a $25 gift certificate to Red Wheel. And we ask that they post a picture of them moving, doing anything. They could be swimming, they could be biking, they could be dancing, something in our parks. And they would hashtag Get Your Move On, and that would put them into a drawing that will draw the following Monday. So that's going on this week. Next week, July 9th through the 15th is Get Your Splash On. Obviously, any kind of water activities. So they would post a picture with hashtag Get Your Splash On, and they could be swimming, water gun fights, anything like that. That's sponsored by Parks and Recreation. Week 3 is Get Your Happy On, and that's sponsored by Avenue HQ. So they can post a picture of them having fun in the parks and imitating their favorite emoji. So smiley face, winky face, make it a little fun. And the winner of that will receive Avenue HQ comedy show tickets and another prize in there. Week 4 is Get Your Shark On. So this is a little different. That is Shark Week. We are going to be hiding some shark item in one of our 1,400-acre parks, and that is dubbed Shark in the Park. So the first person to locate this prize will bring that back to the link, and they will be given a $10 gift certificate to J. Finney's. And if you are not able to locate that item first, you can still take a picture at that location. We'll have a stationary item there, and then they'll be entered into a drawing at the end of that week for $30 gift certificate to J. Finney's and Royals tickets. So we hope to make this enticing, bringing in some prizes and making it fun. The whole point of Parks and Recreation Month is to get people out and enjoying the parks.
Great. Well, we are very much looking forward to this and appreciate Parks and Rec and all that you do in our community. And this is going to be a great month to get active inside the parks for all the families in Jefferson City. So playing along with the social media theme, we're going to get a picture. So if the council would come back here, and then I'll present the proclamation, and Gail will get a picture for us to put on there. Any comments first, though?
Yes, Madam Mayor, before we do that, I also want to announce, since I was going to wait to under the announcements to say this, but going along with the theme of July being Parks Month, on next Tuesday, July the 11th, Parks and Rec and Lincoln University will be doing a groundbreaking ceremony for the new tennis courts. It's going to be on the Lafayette corridor. So I want to say congratulations and thank you to Parks and Rec for partnering with Lincoln University and the community for this wonderful project as we get ready to expand and make Lafayette more appealing and make more people want to take the Lafayette corridor to and from MSP to wherever, to Lincoln University, to the high school. So thank you so very much to Parks and Recs.
It's great. We'll be looking forward to that tennis court groundbreaking for the community. Any other questions, comments? Thank you. We will have council come back here and we'll do a quick photo op to get your move on.
Attorney, Shark, same thing.
Yeah, July 11th, 10 a.m.
And one more, because wait a minute, this is get your move on. So let's all pretend like we're like moving. So ready? Okay, everybody strike a pose. Get your, this is going to be hashtag get your move on. Sorry, shake it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. So that's going to be hashtag get your move on. Oh, moving right along. Thank you.
We lost the mayor. I guess.
Hey, it's like you guys say the word.
All right, and we're going to do, before we move on to item 5, I'm going to do a quick, we're going to do a quick video. And what we're going to do here is, we're entering a contest here. For Good Morning America's having a contest of where can you have the ultimate block party, and where else but the prison cell block is the place for the ultimate block party. So we're going to submit a quick video. And so what we're going to do is, this is going to be like we're at a real council meeting, so you can even pan back a little bit where you see like a real council meeting going on. Okay. Oh, whoops, not that far back. This is a real council, this is actually a real council meeting, so. So what we're going to do, I've just
Please
turned
go
up my
pretend like
phone
you're doing
here,
something.
and then we're going to, I don't want anybody to be alarmed because I'm not like leaving, I am coming back, but we're going to do a quick video here. So we're going to just proceed here. He'll start rolling here. We'll say action, and he's going to roll as if we're doing our council meeting. And then the rest of you can just be normal, and then Ron has a quick roll, and then we'll proceed. So,
Roll.
okay, and this is aerial photography. Real quick, I'll give you a quick plug from Aerial. They do air photography. And they do the drone footage, so you'll see them throughout the July 4th festivities. They've already been at Inside the Walls filming some drone footage, so we appreciate.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we'll get the rolls too, so.
He has a roll.
Okay, so we're going to do action, and then I'm going to go through, and then I'm going to get a phone call here. Oops, and I'm getting something. Hold on a second. Okay. All right, so 3, 2, 1. We're to action. All right, and we've just gone through item 4, presentations from Parks and Recreation, and item 5, public hearings, and item 6, we have no appointments by the mayor at this time, so item, oh, I forgot to turn my phone up. No, I did turn it up. Okay, never mind. Hold on a second. I thought I didn't turn my phone up. We got to start over. And I said we're going to do this in one take. So 1 second. I forgot that I'm like, oh, I didn't turn on my phone, because I always have my phone off during council meetings. Not today. Okay, we're rolling. Okay, item 7, presentations from staff, consultants, and invited guests. At this time, I'd like to invite Mrs. Diane Gillespie from the Convention and Visitors Bureau to give us a report about the upcoming Eclipse celebration in Jefferson City on August 21st. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me, just hold on, excuse me, I'm getting a phone call, excuse me. Hello? Yes? Yes? The ultimate block party? I know exactly where we would have the most ultimate block party. I'll be right there.
Block party? Mayor, you can't have the ultimate block party without King's Hawaiian.
You look like you're going to a party, though. He said he didn't have a tie on. He said, it looks like he's going to a party.
Really? Okay.
Did you think I was going to sing? Oh, I should have sang. So Councilwoman Wiseman says she thought I was going to sing. I should have, well, I had, the ringtone is Dirk Bentley. I didn't have to change the ringtone. It was already there. I don't know if anybody got that, but anyway. Anyway, so I take advantage of every opportunity to highlight the prison, and this could just be one of them. If somebody's going to have a block party, like, hello, I mean, Jefferson City is the ultimate place for a block party in our cell block. So thank you for letting me get a little sidetracked there, get a little sideways on that one. Okay, so item 5, there are no public hearings. Item 6, appointments by the mayor, there are none. Item 7, now, Mrs. Diane Gillespie. come on forward and after that. And,
Good morning. How do I cover that one or beat that one?
Yes. Give us your report on the eclipse. We're happy to have you here to tell us all
Absolutely.
about
Well,
it.
thank you for the invite to come and share this event with all of you. I think some of you know what's going on, but I'm going to ask you, where are you going to be on August 21st, about 1:15 in the afternoon? Come on, guys. Come on. Jeff City, that's right. So, over almost a year and a half ago, Catherine Reed and I in my office, we started receiving these eclipse glasses in the mail. And we'd look at them and go, what? And at that time, we were trying to get the offices moved. We were trying to open a museum, and we shoved them in a cabinet. And that was, then we started going to these tourism conferences, and we started hearing about this eclipse and being told that if you're in the path of the eclipse, people will be coming to your city. Whether you do anything about it, they're coming, so be prepared. And we are being told that we could have anywhere from 10 to 50,000 people coming into our city. And you're like, okay. So you start looking at it. It's a Sunday evening when chances are all of our hotels are going to be full. And if we've got a hotel full of visitors, we want them to have a great time while they're in Jefferson City. And we want to look like we have a lot of activities going on and have a great visit. And hopefully they will come back then in the future. So at this time, all the hotels are full. We have a few rooms scattered around. So we know that those 1,100 hotel rooms are going to have folks staying in the rooms on Sunday night. So as we moved through this, we reached out to Parks and Rec because we knew that it was going to be on a Monday. State workers would be in place. All the parking lots were going to be full. We looked at this as another July 4th event, but we didn't have the parking lots available to accommodate the people coming in. So then we reached out to Parks and Rec, sat down with them, said, what about North Jefferson City? It's wide open fields. Can we also offer some additional camping there? They have been a great source with us of working on this project. So then we now have that happening. We also have Eastside Business Association that has created a total eclipse of the park on Sunday, that they will have art and food vendors, sci-fi movies going on in the amphitheater, and some entertainment, sci-fi movies in the pavilion, and entertainment down in the amphitheater. So that will happen on Sunday afternoon, and then we'll have a concert on the Capitol lawn of a Pink Floyd tribute band. But in addition to that, we wanted to have some education aspect of it, and we started forming some education activities that would take place on the Capitol ground on Sunday afternoon. And then one day I got a phone call, and the gentleman goes, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm with NASA TV. And I'm like, And he keeps talking. All of a sudden, I'm like, man, this is the real thing. This is NASA television. And they have selected Jefferson City as one of the 7 cities across the country to be in our location for the eclipse. And you're kind of like, okay, this is kind of taking this event to a different level. A couple days after that, I got another phone call from NASA offering to bring their Journey to Tomorrow traveling exhibit to our community. It's a 53-foot wide traveling exhibit, and I sent that out to my board to approve the expenses for it, and the response was, duh, Diane, it's NASA. Well, yeah, I understand that, but I still have to have the expense approved. So that has been approved. So we now have NASA television coming in. We have the NASA traveling exhibit, and we also have 2 astronauts that will be traveling with them that will be coming into our community. So then they also wanted some personalities, so I reached out and have gotten that. So what I have given to you in your packet is kind of an outline of all the activities that are going on during the eclipse weekend. And we are still fine-tuning these folks, so we have not really publicized this. If you go to our website, which this is the website photo that we have up here, and whoops, that's some additional information about what will be going on during the events happening starting on the 19th. We have also partnered with the fire department on their Hotter Than Hell 5K that will kick everything off on the 19th. And then we have a mini carnival that will be happening across the river. We've also got the Eclipse corn maze, which the Fisher Farms have come forward and have designed that for us, that is eclipsed based. And then the Saturday Night Live downtown, which will be like a Thursday Night Live, will kick off that Saturday. And then Sunday, as I mentioned, the Education Series and East Side Business Association. So as the eclipse is coming across, you can see where we're located on the path. And then if you, okay. And then if you go to this video, this is live on the website that will actually show this shadow as it crosses the United States and what will happen when it hits Jefferson City. So actually, the eclipse is going to begin at about 11:46, and the totality happens at about 1:15 for 2 minutes and 29 seconds. And then it will continue on until about 2:41 when we will be back to what you could refer to as normal. So that is kind of what's going on there. Again, this is some additional information that you can go to our website and keep updated. You can sign up to receive our emails to keep updated on all the activities happening. So this is a map of all the locations that we have designated for the event. Off to your east is Riverside Park, and then the downtown Capitol area, and then across the river at North Jefferson. With parking over there. Food vendors will be over there on Monday only. So that's where all the activity will take place on Monday. Another section of our website. The prison tour, we are also opened up a tour starting from 11 to 1, and then they will have the opportunity to stay on the grounds for the tour. We had 200 spots open for that, and they are all sold out. And our eclipse glasses. If you need glasses, we do have those available for you. And then this is a list of all the news media outlets that have covered us. Recently, we came out in CNN as one of the top 10 locations to be. We have also, Catherine was working with New York Times last week on a story, and CNN is going to do another story on us. So this will be updated on our website. As we keep getting this attention, I guess you could say. So not sure what the whole weekend is going to bring, but we want to be prepared for it. We've been working with the police department and the fire department and the city. I think all the departments within the city have been attending our meetings, just trying to get prepared and wrap our hands around this. So what I'm asking for you all, the CVB is covering the marketing expenses and several of the expenses, bringing the NASA folks in and that type of thing. But we are going to have some additional expenses for infrastructure. So one of the first calls that we made was reserving porta potties. And so we have that taken care of, but we are also going to have some shuttle service, trying to get the folks moved around, especially if the state does continue to work on that Monday using different parking lots around the community. And then getting them over to north if we can't fill up the downtown area anymore, and some signage. So that is my ask to all of you. I'll be glad to answer any questions on this event that I can.
Thank you, Diane. This
Thank
is
you.
very exciting, looking
It
at all this
is.
amazing coverage that Jefferson City is getting, that we are one of the top places in the world to be
It is.
on August 21st.
It is. It's
for the
kind of
eclipse.
crazy. All of us CVB people across the state are kind of going, what? It's probably been one of the most difficult events for that I have been involved with, to try to figure out exactly what to prepare for. So, as I said, we're kind of basing it off the 4th of July and see where we go with that.
Well, and it's definitely once in a lifetime.
It is a once-in-a-lifetime event, yes.
Because people have said, oh, I remember the last eclipse back in the 80s. That was
That
not
would, that would be a
total
partial eclipse, yes.
So nobody remembers this unless they were in another part of the world. They do not remember having a total
Correct.
eclipse.
Correct. And we will have another community meeting on July the 6th, 5:30 at Capitol Plaza Hotel if you'd like to come, hear more about the eclipse, and we will give you an update at that time of all the activities that are happening. It's hard to believe that's this week, but yeah, July 6th.
And you mentioned the website. Now, there is capitoleclipse.org, and then your website is the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Yes, yes. So we do have a link on our website, but if you go to the capitoleclipse.org, that is where all the information is on the actual eclipse.
Great. Any
Any
comments,
questions?
from council?
If you guys want to
Councilman
volunteer,
Mahalovich?
we'd be glad to take volunteers that day.
Great. Councilman Mahalovich?
I'd like to make a motion that the council supports the city administrator to expend funds within authorized limits to support the preparation and events related to the Great American Eclipse.
Wonderful. Councilman Mahalovich is our liaison to the Jefferson City Convention and Visitors Bureau, so I'm sure you've been working very closely on this eclipse event, so I appreciate the motion. So we have a motion and second. Would you like some discussion? Any further questions? Okay. Roll call, please.
Fitzwater,
Aye.
Graham,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Kimna,
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Weissman.
Great. Motion passes, so you'll be working with the city administrator on those details.
Very
and
good.
And Councilman Mahalovich as well. And thank you for being here. We'll probably have you back as we have, I believe, 2 more meetings until
We
the
will.
eclipse, so you can give
Sure.
us some updates.
Absolutely. And I do appreciate everyone's support on this from the city side. We're all working together as a team, and the word is kind of be flexible. So thank you, everybody.
Great.
Happy
And we have our
holidays.
glasses. I don't know about you. Who has their glasses already? Raise your hand. Okay, there's a few of you in here.
I've got a bunch of them for council already ordered, so.
Okay, good. We have some, well, yes, because you're actually doing an eclipse event. Well, and aside from that, there's other events too going on. So that was not a lot of hands in here, so y'all get your eclipse glasses. Diane has them too at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, so don't wait. Okay, item, let's see here, B, Chief Schofield, the Red Cross presentation on sprinklers with Mr. Dave Griffith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and City Council. We wanted to bring the Executive Director of the Red Cross, Mr. David Griffith, to speak to you today. And as he makes his way to the podium, we're also going to have Division Chief Turner stand there with him. Division Chief Turner has been our representative on the Code Review Committee for the past 18 months or so. It's been a very long and arduous process. And we also know there's been much discussion over fire sprinklers. And we thought it appropriate that we bring a representative of the American Red Cross, as they are probably one of our most committed and dedicated partners in helping folks recover from fires, and specifically multifamily fires. And that's really what a lot of the sprinkler discussion is about. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Griffith, and then if there's any questions the council has after that, we'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman, for having me here this morning. The American Red Cross, during the month of September, that's called Preparedness Month. But really, throughout the entire year, I talk about preparedness and how we can prepare families for disaster. And one disaster that happens more often than anything else is a single-family fire or a multifamily fire. And we began 4 years ago with a campaign called the Home Fire Preparedness Campaign, where we go into people's homes and we help them design a plan to escape their home. We install up to 3 smoke alarms in their home that are 10-year alarms that the batteries never have to be changed on. And we encourage them to practice that plan throughout the year, at least twice a year. And our partnership with the fire department has been real crucial in us getting in the door. So often, if we walk up with our red vest on and we knock on the door, they think we're there to ask them for money. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. We're there to try and help them be prepared for a fire. And it has really been proven that the sprinkler systems that happen, especially in multi-family units, those sprinkler systems save lives and they protect property. One event that happened tragically a few years ago that many of you may remember down at the Lake of the Ozarks in an apartment building down there, 4 children lost their life. Had there been sprinkler systems in that particular apartment and in that particular building, who knows what would have happened. But we do know that just this past Thursday over in Columbia at the Lenore Senior Services building that's just on the east side of Columbia, the fire department responded to a fire there that an unattended stove had been left on, and when they got there, smoke was coming out of the apartment. But the sprinkler system that was inside the apartment put that fire out. Had there not been a sprinkler system in there, the results of that would be a whole lot different than what they are now. That was spread from one apartment to another, and they estimated the damage to that apartment at $15,000, but if it had not been there, who knows what would have happened. They quoted the National Fire Protection Association that says buildings, reports fires in buildings equipped with automatic sprinklers were controlled 96% of the time. So what we're, in our partnership with the fire department, is really to raise awareness of the importance of sprinklers, not only in apartment buildings, but in homes as well. And we encouraged, and the American Red Cross encourages sprinklers in residential homes as well as in commercial property, as well as apartment buildings. So we're in full support of these sprinklers, and whatever I can do to answer any questions for you or to help assist this, I would be glad to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. It's great to have you here, former councilman, and appreciate your hard work with the Red Cross in this very important subject of life-saving sprinklers. So appreciate your presentation. Does council have any questions or comments? And Mr. Turner as well, thank you for being here. Mr. Schofield?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, if I could just real briefly, our understanding is that the formal ordinance we brought forth to the full council in July 17th council meeting. I unfortunately will be out of town, as will, I believe, Mr. Griffith, but we wanted to give you some perspective, and we're also always willing to answer any questions that you might have and go deeper into some of the data and some of the specifics about this particular piece of the fire codes.
Okay. Well, thank you. We'll look forward to having that discussion and having that introduced in July. And thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Item 8, announcements by mayor, council, and staff. You can see all of our committee meeting schedule and calendar at jeffersoncitymo.gov. And I have a few announcements, too. It's appropriate to announce here over the July 4th holiday that we were voted one of the most patriotic towns in the USA. Other towns that made the list were Chicago, Philadelphia, Austin, St. Louis. And we were selected, being the state capital, we're already very patriotic. And also the Lincoln University Soldiers Memorial was part of that, and the July 4th Salute to America Festival, and how that brings thousands of people to our state capital city. So that was an honor to be selected as one of the most patriotic towns in the USA. And speaking of the big festivities coming up, the News Tribune headline is "All Roads Lead to Downtown Jefferson City," and I want to give a shout out to all the volunteers that make it happen. That's really what this story is about, because this event is amazing. It draws people from everywhere, and it's one of the best July 4th festivities that you'll ever find. And it's amazing because it happens because the community supports it, and we have amazing volunteers and the businesses that sponsor to make that a free event for people to come up and enjoy. So a few announcements of what's going on today and tomorrow. Of course, today is July 3rd. 6 p.m. tonight is not a council meeting. That's why we're here now. 6 p.m. is the parade. So anybody who does show up at 6 p.m., the parade does originate right here in front of City Hall and goes around the downtown area. So everybody loves the July 4th parade. So that's tonight. Followed by, at the Capitol, there is a concert, a free concert at the Capitol, including Black Diamond, which is a Neil Diamond tribute, and a Bee Gees tribute this evening. Tomorrow on July 4th, there's activities all day long. You can get a complete schedule at salutetoamerica.org. And then that evening, the Gin Blossoms will perform tomorrow night, July 4th, at the Capitol, a free concert, and then followed by the amazing fireworks display. So there's a lot going on in Jefferson City, and looking forward to that. Also, to recap, we had the second annual Salute to America concert inside the walls at the Missouri State Penitentiary. Winona Judd, Winona and the Big Noise, was performing, and it was a beautiful day. We had 3 bands that performed before her. There was Shotgun Creek, Steve Griggs Band, and Hillbilly Vegas all performed before Winona, and it was an amazing night. It's so cool to use the prison as a venue and as a concert venue, and everybody that was there really seemed to enjoy it. The music was great, the weather was perfect, the venue is amazing. So really appreciate all of the entities that came together, the city, state, county, Convention of Visitors Bureau, the chamber, everyone that came together to make something happen inside the prison walls. And we did have some councilmen there that may have something to add about the experience. I know I did run into Councilman Fitzwater and Councilman Kimna that were there. Do you have anything to add about the prison concert?
Well, I would just echo the comments that you had. It was a beautiful evening. I was sitting there talking to Representative Bernsketter and just kind of sitting back as the sun was setting, and that is an amazing facility. I think the opportunities that we have, and just looking at the stonework on that old building, I know that Councilman gave us a great tour a couple weeks ago, but it was a fun event. Everybody had a good time. It was orderly. People left, and it was easy in and out. So,
Well, and I
comments,
know
too.
when I spoke with you at the concert, you mentioned how we had just had the work session tour where the council was at the prison, but when you're actually there for an event, how it just takes on a whole different event space. It's different than just even driving through and going on a tour when you see it in action and all the people there enjoying the music, and it's really something to see and enjoy. I don't know, Mr. Kimna, Councilman Kimna.
I just think it's a great signature event for Salute to America, because the last couple of years, I know last year was a little rainy, but still a good turnout, and this year it's just seeing just the family atmosphere, you know, grandmothers and their grandkids and just hanging out, and we had a great turnout, and I just think it was a great place to have it, just to, like he was saying, just to look at the prison and having that atmosphere, and I hope we can continue that tradition of having that concert at the prison.
Well, I agree completely. It was great. And Winona was amazing and fantastic and fabulous. What an amazing performer. And of course, I feel like I've been Mayor Winona for about the last month and really enjoyed it. And it was really neat to actually get to welcome her officially to Jefferson City and to the prison. So
How many people were in attendance, Madam Mayor? Tickets sold?
I haven't heard
This
the
year?
final
Well, the paper said
results.
1,600, but that wasn't the final.
We don't have our final numbers yet, but it felt very full, but still comfortable, and it was just really almost a perfect amount. However many we had there was really a good crowd, and the vendors, everything just worked out great. But as the sun went down and the lights kind of came out of those old buildings, it was pretty awesome to see that venue as the lights were coming out of those prison. I had a little girl said, I think I saw a ghost going through that. She came up to me and was like, anyway, it's kind of cool to be on the prison grounds. So it was a really super event. And those conclude my announcements. Does council have anything they'd like to announce? Councilman Mahalovich?
The 13th, we have a finance meeting at 7:30 across the hall.
Great. Any other committee announcements? And as we do head into the July 4th holiday and festival, I encourage everyone to be safe and appreciate all of our city departments that work together to keep our community safe. I know the Jefferson City Police Department and fire departments will be working extra hard during the holiday weekend, so everybody please enjoy and be careful. Item 9, presentations from the gallery on specific bills or resolutions. We have nobody signed up. And item 10, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And you know, as I just turned the page, I realized I did forget an announcement, so I'm going to go back to that and say, because I cannot forget, that we do have the Mayor's Cup golf tournament is July 21st at Oak Hills, which is one of our Parks and Rec city golf courses. So I encourage everybody to come to Oak Hills. This is a tradition started by Mayor John Landwehr, so I'm not going to disappoint. We're going to make it even bigger and better than when he was mayor. No, he's been doing it for many, many years to highlight our city golf course. So if you'd like information for that, let me know. It is Friday, July 21st. And what better excuse to get out and enjoy our city golf course, but also to support the Jefferson City Kiwanis, which is all the proceeds for that golf tournament would go. So please see me there. Item 11, bills introduced, 2017-27. Mrs. Powell?
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Jefferson by rezoning property located in the 1200 and 1300 block of Trade Center Parkway from M1 Light Industrial to PUD Planned Unit Development, endorsing an associated comprehensive plan amendment and approval of a concept PUD plan for said property.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the clerk said, this is a rezoning of a piece of property out west. I'll show a map in a moment, from M1 Light Industrial to a planned unit development. Associated is also an endorsement of a comprehensive plan amendment showing that change in land use, and there is an attached concept PUD plan. A concept PUD plan will go back through the process of planning and zoning and back to the council for final approval. The property is out off Trade Center Parkway. You can see here on the map, the yellow line is the city limit. This is one of the most westernmost parcels inside the city. Over to the north is Bighorn Drive, just right below Highway 50, and sort of to the lower right is Modine. The zoning, actually a little back history first. In 2010, this whole parcel was zoned as PUD without an actual plan in place. And then in 2010, it was changed to M1 Light Industrial. The property owner put in a street and also some stormwater basin detention facilities. Due to the economic situation, there was no development in that area, so they are requesting a rezoning to PUD to be able to facilitate the development of about 40 apartments. They also have a, here's a little bit better graphic. Well, let me get one zoomed in a little bit more. So to your left is north. That is Trade Center Parkway, the road that is already built. Over to the left, that big blue sort of weird-looking shape, that is a detention facility that is already built for stormwater. And then those are the buildings that are to be built. There's going to be an on-site manager. There'll be after-school daycare, and there's about 40 units in that complex. I believe most are 2- and 3-bedroom units. And they're planning a buffer yard, a 50-foot buffer yard, along there's a right-of-way easement for electrical power. So we are just asking that, and here's a rendering of a possible look of what the facility would look like. So this is just sort of the first reading heads up. We did have a public meeting. There were several people from that area that were opposed to it. The Home Builder Association was positive for it, and then some other people just had some comments on it. Just want to share that with you. It did pass planning and zoning 7-1, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilwoman Ward?
We just heard about the new building code requiring sprinklers in apartment complexes. I believe that code will be for fourplexes. This is going to go through before that will. Since the PUD and the city staff works very closely with those developments, will we be looking into requiring sprinklers?
I'm not. I know there's a sort of a effective date of the building codes after they're passed. So I think the idea is if something's already been designed at that point, it can go without them. I don't know if our council has any input on that or not in terms of being retroactive.
Generally, a zoning designation won't implicate building plans. So while the zoning will come through this body before the building codes do, I would be surprised if the actual actionable construction documents get through Sonny's department before the codes go into place. So I actually think the codes will be in place. Yeah, unless they move extremely rapidly on designing and getting the actual approved construction documents. We should have the building codes in place before then.
Well, being that you mentioned after school daycare, it looks like it may be an apartment complex that would draw families with young children. So sprinkler systems in an apartment complex like that is where we really want to target for safety.
If the timeline turns out otherwise, we'll bring it to your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. 2017-28.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Jefferson by rezoning .35 acres of land addressed as 210 Prodo from PUD planned unit development to C1 neighborhood commercial.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a rezoning from PUD to C1 on Proto Drive, and when I show you the map here, you'll see why. Basically, We're over here on the western part of town. You can see Hy-Vee sort of a little bit to the lower left of Proto Drive, the mall to the south, see Truman Boulevard up there. What happened is this property was annexed into the city in the 70s, and it had C4 zoning. Before it was developed, I'm not sure of how it actually happened, but there was a PUD zoning change to the property before it was subdivided. So that property there you see, about 0.35 acre, well, about half of it's in PUD, half of it's in C1. The owner of the property, it's operated as Turnkey Mobile. They want to build an extension on the back of their building. The back is in the PUD zoning. The front is in the C1. If they were in C1, they could just go ahead with the process and get a building permit. But the owner and staff is recommending that this rezoning takes place so that it's not a burdensome to the owner, and we have to go through the owner's process of a PUD amendment. With that said, it passed unanimously at the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? All right. Thank you. 2017-29.
An ordinance amending Chapter 35 zoning code of the Code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri pertaining to event centers, nightclubs, after-hours establishments, and smoking lounges.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. As the clerk indicated, there are several types of land uses in this text amendment for the zoning code. What we're doing is we're defining what those uses are, we're defining where they can be located in the zoning areas, and also some parking requirements. So I'd like to first start off, and I'm sorry I can't read that myself, but some definitions of what these facilities are. An event center or banquet hall is basically used for leasing or renting for functions from private individuals, meetings, weddings, anniversaries, things like that. A nightclub actually is in the code, but we're changing the definition. Previously, it required dispensing liquor and meals, but now the definition would read, it's an establishment in which music, dancing, and/or entertainment is conducted during the evening hours in a social setting, but not including bars or taverns as defined in this chapter. The other category is the after-hours establishment. Basically, any establishment that's open between 1:30 a.m. and 4 a.m., whose primary purpose is nightclub entertainment, teen clubs, dance clubs, establishments which feature the playing of live and recorded music, and whatnot. The other category of smoking lounge would be a retail store that is primarily for the sale of tobacco smoking products where their floor area or their volume is 70% or more, or half of their revenue is generated by tobacco-related product sales. So those are the definitions of the land uses. Where we're placing these in the code is, you can see up here, a whole new category. The event center or banquet hall would be a conditional use permit in the rural land use. It'd be permitted in C1, which is the neighborhood commercial, the general commercial C2, and also permitted in the downtown commercial. And it would be a, my glasses on, sorry. Permitted use also in M1, M2, the general industrial. Nightclubs, after-hours establishments, and smoking lounges would be permitted in the general commercial C2, and with special exception in C3, which is the downtown area. And the nightclubs and after-hours establishments would be permitted in the general industrial. There's also a requirement that for my notes here. For the smoking lounge, after-hours clubs, if they're going to be within 250 feet of a residential dwelling, including loft apartments, they'll require a special exception permit. That special exception permit process goes through the Planning and Zoning Commission and then to the council for approval. And then the parking, I don't think I have it up there, but it's pretty standard in terms of what the other uses in those general areas are. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions, discussion? All right. 2017-30.
An ordinance amending Chapter 35 zoning code of the Code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri pertaining to assisted living facilities.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. These are getting easier as we go. A gentleman came in. He had a property which was used as a skilled residential center. It's been there since prior to 2000, and he was wanting to do an addition, and we discovered that C2 does not permit that type of use. C2 allows some residential uses such as apartment complexes. We believe it was an oversight when the code rewrite occurred in 2002 that skilled residential centers were not permitted in C2. So staff is recommending a change to the zoning code to allow that in C2. Passed the Planning and Zoning Commission 8-0, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right, thank you. 2017-31.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with the Callaway County Collector for billing and collection of taxes.
Mrs. Miller?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This agreement has been in place since 2009, and it basically allows the Callaway County to, or requires them to bill and collect real estate taxes, personal property taxes, and motor vehicle taxes for the City of Jefferson. And then their fee is set basically by Missouri statute, which is a 1% fee. Is there any questions?
Questions, discussion? All right, thank you. And actually, now we'll head on to bills pending. So 2017-21.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a $318,245.86 agreement with Double Map Incorporated to provide equipment and services related to automatic vehicle locators, automatic voice annunciators, and automatic passenger counters.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, this project, as the clerk said, would authorize an agreement with a vendor to provide various features to our bus system. In general terms, they would allow a user to be able to track where a bus is as it's coming to them. It will also allow us some data as to where our passengers get on and off. And finally, it is a annunciator where it'll announce the names of the stops for the riders on the bus, which will standardize that and assist our passengers in hearing where they're at as they're traveling along. If you have any detailed questions about that, Mark Mamert, where the Transit Division is here, that could answer those. But with that, be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Smith and Mr. Mamert, for being here also. Does council have any questions? Councilwoman Wiseman?
Is this coming in the form of an app for the riders as well?
Mark, why don't you just go to the...
Morning, Madam Mayor, Council. Yes, this does come in a JeffTran badged app. Also, they'll be able to use Google Maps as well. Some folks don't like to clutter up their phone or their other operating systems, and will be able to use Google Maps, but it does have a JeffTran badged app, yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions, comments? All right. Mrs. Powell, roll call, please.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Kemna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Wiseman.
Aye.
Bill passes. 2017-24.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending the 2016-2017 budget by reorganizing two positions within the Department of Planning and Protective Services, Planning MPO Division.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What I have on my slide here on the top is our current staffing, our current allocation of staff for the Planning Division. We have a full-time planner 3, that's Eric Barron, and we have a part-time planning technician. And then over on the right in the CAMPO, the Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, or Long Range Transportation Planning Division, we have a vacant planner 3 position. That was my position. And we have a planner 1 and a planner 2. And what we're proposing to do is to combine those 2 divisions, have one of those planner 3 positions become a 19 and planning manager, so there'd be only 1 supervisor in charge of all of the planning related activities. And the other planner 3 position would fall back down into a planner 1 or 2 position. So there, that would be going up 1 rank and then going down, grades, and then going down 2 or 3 grades for that other position. This would allow us more flexibility in working together and collaborating on activities. So if there was a big project, we can slide more people that way without being budgetarily constricted. The MPO staff is 80% federal right now, and we're not allowed to do certain things with that money for non-transportation related activities, but this would allow us to flex our time and charge our time to the appropriate items as we work on them. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments? All right, roll call, please.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Kemna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Bill passes. 2017-25.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a contract with Jefferson City Public Schools for school resource officers.
Chief Schrader.
Thank you. The bill authorizes a formal agreement between the City of Jefferson and the Jefferson City Public School District. Within that agreement, it states the Jefferson City Police Department will provide a school resource officer program. Although we've offered that program for many years, it came to our attention recently that it requires a formal adoption by the governing body, so it's presented to the council to correct that oversight. Some of the duties and assignments are contained within the bill summary, and the payment for that program is split 50-50 between the city and the public school district. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Henry.
Aye.
Kemna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Bill passes. 2017-26.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri by allowing members of the Cultural Arts Commission and the Environmental Quality Commission to attend meetings and cast votes by electronic means.
Mr. Gates.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This will allow the volunteer members of the city's Cultural Arts Commission and the Environmental Quality Commission to attend meetings via electronic means such as video conferencing, the internet, and telephone, and to cast votes at the meetings if they were physically present.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Councilman Graham.
I know this is coming for us before the from Parks and Recs, but do we allow this to take place in our other meetings as far as Police Personnel Board, Transportation and Traffic? What would be the difference between these two, allowing these? I'm not opposed to it, but why can't it be across the board just instead of limited to these two meeting members?
Mr. Molman.
So I think the idea was that these two particular boards are particularly having trouble with getting quorums for particular scheduling reasons of the members. And so the thought was is if we could allow electronic attendance, we can maybe improve that situation, let them get down to the business that they were called upon to do. But it is limited to these things. And I think the thinking is that we could use it as something of a pilot program, see if it works before we implement it on a citywide basis. Missouri law, the Sunshine Law, is kind of a mess when it comes to electronic meeting attendance. I feel confident saying that the legislation that allows it was hastily put together, and it's not clear at all on how local governments are supposed to comply with it. And so I added some language at the end of both these sections that whatever we do, it must comply with the Missouri Sunshine Law. So that way we're not getting crosswise with the Sunshine Law. But there's not a whole lot of clarity on what that means, and so we're going to have to kind of dig deep and figure out what that means. So it was my preference that we limit the scope to begin with, figure out what we're doing, what works, where the pitfalls are before we have any consideration of extending it to other boards. This is really kind of a guinea pig. It's the best answer I can give.
Any further questions, comments? Okay. Roll call, please.
Kemna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
No.
Ward.
Aye.
Wiseman.
Aye.
Fitzwater.
No.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Bill passes. Item 13, informal calendar, 2017-9. And the bill sponsor is absent, so, and that dies with this meeting. So, Mr. Molman, what's the direction we would take on that?
Say nothing.
Okay. All right. So then on to item 14, resolutions. There are none. Item 15, presentations from the gallery on other topics. We have nobody signed up, correct?
Right.
But it looks like we may have somebody who's interested in speaking, and I believe since you haven't signed up, the procedure would just be that the council would entertain a motion to allow. Is that
So moved.
correct?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, welcome. And then you would have a 3 minutes to speak on any topic presentation.
Good morning, Madam Mayor.
Good morning.
Council. Thank you for agreeing to allow me to speak. And forgive my voice this morning. You were issued a handout that is titled for immediate release, and it's from the Friends of Lafayette Street in the Historic Foot District. This is a...
You may want to pull that microphone
Oh, I'm sorry. In the Historic Foot District. The first page is a brief synopsis of what we're trying to achieve through the organization, and you can read that at your leisure. And what I would like to do is direct your attention to page 2 or the backside of that document. And we are currently, forgive me, we are currently on item 3 on the backside. And if I may read that real quick. To independently, with the aid of Jefferson City Chamber of Commerce, work with local business leaders and national corporation business chains to develop an interest in locating new business opportunities in and around the Lafayette Street in the Historic Foot District and any appropriate site location in the immediate surrounding area. What brings me here today is that we have very systematically and methodically been canvassing the community and various public and private entities to see if there is an interest and or a need for an economic development package in the Lafayette Street and the Historic Foot District. As you all know, we started last year on June 17th to begin to implement this plan by getting Lafayette Street and the Historic Foot District recognized as a historical site. In addition, we've been working with Lincoln University to find out what their desires and what their needs are for that area to accommodate the students and the staff at Lincoln University. We're now in the phase where we are canvassing public and private entities to develop an interest in putting together an economic development package for that area. And this would include some type of a facade that would be retail and maybe lodging. Well, as a result of that, we were asked to speak to Ms. Jane Beadham, who has some issues and concerns in the area that we are looking at to develop this economic development package. Well, in doing so, we had a meeting with her, I believe on or about June the 26th, to discuss with her her desires and what she might see as the need for this particular plan. She indicated that she was working with local property owners on School Street, which was in the area that we were proposing this plan. In return, she decided that she was going to
And
offer
it's been
to
3
organize...
minutes, so we'll have you wrap up. The 3 minutes just time, so thank you.
that she was going to organize a meeting with the property owners to discuss this matter. Well, as a result of that, an email was sent out that was containing false and erroneous information. And so I quickly tried to intercede and to correct this situation. And so, to just jump forward real quick,
And
what
Mr.
had
Brown, I
happened
know
was...
we've hit the 3-minute mark, so if you could wrap up, that would be great.
I will wrap
Okay,
it up.
thank you.
And so in that email, a statement was made that I had indicated that the city had approved this plan. And so that was false and erroneous and misleading. And so we had asked the author to change that language, and with some reluctance, she did not want to do that. So I came here today to submit to you that at no point in time did I or any of my associates make that statement that the city had approved our plan. And so I also wanted to use this forum to allow any future comments or questions relevant to that email can be answered quickly by just reviewing this particular video. So with that in mind, thank you for your time and attention. And if you have any questions, I have Mr. Arthur Brown and Ms. Jane Beadham here if you would like to ask any questions.
Thank you. Does council have any questions? Okay. Item 16, council and staff discussion of presentation topics. Any council discussion? Okay. Item 17, new business. Item 18, any unfinished business? 19, adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All right, all in favor? All right, everybody have a safe and happy 4th of July.